welcome our next speaker, Kanchan Gogna. Today, she will be presenting her session, Streamlining Bank Reconciliation in Business Central. Please stick around after Kanchan's session for a live Q&A.
Hi everyone, my name here is Kanchan Gogna, and I work for Pax8, which is one of Microsoft's biggest partners here. I work with the Pax8 team on the Business Central side, and I am a manager of 365 Dynamics here. Firstly, I'd like to thank DynamicsCon for hosting me here and for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge with everyone. So this is what I'll be discussing in my presentation today. The first topic will be just to cover the basics on what is an ERP and what is Business Central. It will be followed by highlighting some of the key features of Business Central that I personally use on an everyday basis, which will cover a bank reconciliation. You'll have updating master data, Outlook integration. Lastly, we'll have a short conclusion, and then we'll jump right into the Business Central demo. And with that demo, I'll not only cover the topics that we have discussed here in the presentation, but there'll be some extra bonus content from my side. So let's start off with what is an ERP/Business Central. So these two words, the reason why there is a slash there is because they can be interchangeable in a way that is because Business Central is an ERP system. And what does that even mean, right? It means that it's an enterprise resource planning system that it allows you to manage multiple processes in your business. So it doesn't just focus on one type of process. So you can manage sales, finances, projects, and operations. It's kind of a big overview of start to finish for your business. The biggest advantage of Business Central is that it allows you to integrate Microsoft apps as well as non-Microsoft apps as well. And what that allows you to do is that it allows you to enhance the overall Business Central functionality just from the base. Examples of apps can include Excel, Outlook, Teams. Something that's not related to Microsoft would be Continua, for example, which is a document capture system. Lastly, because it's on the cloud, it does allow for real-time data extraction for accurate reporting. Management will love this feature because, again, you're not waiting on the turnover of reports here. You can get it straight from the system. Let's move on to a bank rec. So we all know how challenging a bank rec can be on the accountant sides. During month end, this tends to be one of the most tedious and time-consuming processes. However, the bank reconciliation process in Business Central, it's actually quite easy because it can be automated where it can match your internal data to your external data with a click of a button, which takes out the human input. And this is how you're able, to achieve more accuracy, but also just quickly cut down on that time so that maybe you can focus on the overall reporting during month end. Lastly, let's say if you have missed something during the month that you haven't booked, but it's coming up on your bank statement, a way to easily book that is that you can actually book it right from that same screen. And it just allows for a more seamless booking because you're not switching screens. It also helps with accuracy because you're also not double booking there as well. Updating master data. So this is an interesting topic because usually to update volumes of data, you're either going to want someone from the tech side of the business to help you out, or it's usually a consultant doing it on the back end. However, there is a tool in Business Central. It's called Edit in Excel. And what that allows a user to do is that it allows the end user to actually update that volume of data on their own. The way that they can do this is that they'll just have the Excel sheet, update their volumes of data, and load it quickly back into the system. There tends to be quite a few uses of this. For example, inventory part numbers tend to change, tax rates change all the time, sales pricing change all the time. So there is a lot of use for it, and it does allow the end user to take care of that on their own. Lastly, we have Outlook integration. This is more of an advanced feature, however, very, very helpful. What this feature allows you to do is that it allows you to record your invoices as you receive them into your AP inbox. What this ensures is completeness of data so that you're not accidentally missing something. Let's say you're on a meeting and, sometimes meetings tend to be those meetings that you're not heavily involved with. So you can actually book it while you're in meetings as well so that it's not missed. Or if you're working on a task, that's going to take forever to do, you can quickly go ahead and book that as the invoices come because it's just going to be in your Outlook screen. A short conclusion before the demo is that the users who have adapted BC have been able to take advantage of the highlighted features that I have just discussed. They have been able to improve their processes and cut down on their time. Just from a personal perspective, I've used multiple ERP systems, and Business Central seems to be the one that is the most user-friendly, which means the learning curve gets cut down quite a bit. So now what we'll do is we'll move on to the demo, and I'll discuss the three topics that I have discussed here, but we'll add 2 or 3 more bonus topics. And let's move on to the demo now. And so now we are going to move on to the actual demo. I'm going to look on the left side of my screen because that's where my screen is. So let's start off with a bank rec. So I discussed earlier that it's quite easy to perform a bank rec, and assuming that your internal records are accurate and they're up to date with your bank, the bank rec should really only take you a couple of minutes. Well, not a couple of minutes, I'm exaggerating there, but about 5 to 10 minutes to really execute. So over here, I am on the bank rec page. And what you will do is that you will, on the header here, this is where external information is going to come from. By external information, I mean your bank statement. So you will copy the balance last statement, and then you will input the statement ending balance, and this comes directly from your bank statement. Again, this is just test, so I'm kind of cheating here, but ideally it is going to come from your external bank statement. What you see here on the left-hand side is that this is your external data that you have inputted from the bank. And you don't need to manually do this, although you do have that option. What you can do is link your bank account to an online portal, and then you click Import Bank Statement, and it will fill the details on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, this is your internally booked data. This is something that you cannot change. The left side is more mutable. Lastly, your total balance must match your statement ending balance, and then the reconciled amount should be 0 here. Sorry, the balance should be 0 here. Now, I did mention that you can match your internal data and external data automatically with a click of a button, and that is what we're going to do. So under the matching tab, there is a button called Match Automatically. And what this is going to allow you to do is it's asking for a tolerance. A tolerance here is just saying, although these lines are identical, they're not the same date, but if they fall within, for example, 5 days, we still want the system to match it. So I'm going to add the 5-day tolerance here, and I'm going to say okay. Okay. And you can see here, the green is now 100% fully matched. This is what I mean, where you can really save down the time. You don't need to do this manually. The system is smart enough to understand. Lastly, you can see here there is an interest fee that has not been matched, and that's because it has been omitted from the month, right? I also mentioned in my presentation earlier today that we could actually move on to the screen from here to book this entry, and that's what I'm going to show you here. So under Home, you have this button called Transfer to General Journal. If I go ahead and click that, all you need to do is add in the template and batch, and it will create those lines for you, and you just have to go ahead and post it. So you can see here the interest fee is filled out. You just need to add in to your account number. Your amount gets filled in. It automatically picks a bank. And then once you do that, you'll just go ahead and post it and it'll come up on your right-hand side. And then you can go ahead and reconcile that. Once that's done, you can go ahead and post your bank rec from here. And this process overall should be about 5 to 10 minutes. 10 minutes if you have lots of transaction, 5 minutes if it's pretty standard. So that's kind of what the bank rec process looks like. Now, let's move on to updating your master data. This is a hot topic because you no longer have to use your consultant or your tech person to help you out. So let's say I want to update my customer names. On any of the list pages, you will always have an arrow here, and there'll always be an edit in Excel. And this is the tool that allows you to update volumes of data with just a click. So I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And it should load. So I'm going to click replace, say okay. And a new tab will open. And this is going to be an Excel file with the data on the page that we were just on. And it's going to allow me to make changes that I require. And I can go ahead and push it back into the system. Right now, it's just opening up. And just on the right-hand side, this is going to be the integration between BC and Excel. And this is what it looks like. So let's say I want to update Trey Research name to, let's say, for argument's sake, I'm just going to add the word test in here. And I'll do the same thing for School of Fine Art. So once you've made your changes, and mind you, you can also add on customers as well, and you can also delete. Once you've made the change to the spreadsheet, you can go ahead and publish it. One of the things that you have to be careful about using Excel is that you cannot change this format. I cannot rename any of the columns. I could update the rows and I can add on to it. If you follow those two rules, the load into BC is very easy. So now I'm going to go ahead and publish this into the system. Okay, I'm going to go back into my BC and I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this so that the names can get updated. Okay, and you can see here the word test has appeared on customer 2 and 3, which is what we have updated. So you can see how this can be very handy in, let's say, like item cards, right? If I just move on to items here, this is going to be a list of all of your inventory, and you do have that same function here called edit in Excel. Same logic, update inventory number, names, sales prices is another one that you can use this for, tax rates, anything that tends to change on a periodic basis, you would use edit in Excel, and you no longer have to go in manually into each record. So that's the edit in Excel feature. Lastly, the more advanced feature is going to be your Outlook integration. So I'm going to open my Outlook here. Just going to move it onto the screen. And you can see here that I have received an invoice from here. It's from Bastion. I can have Business Central open on the right-hand side. So let's say I'm in a meeting, or let's say I'm just like working on a task and I see this come in. I can quickly go ahead and open BC. I can also open my invoice at the same time to get the detail out. And what this is going to allow me to do is go ahead and do my data entry from here. So the other thing that you can also do is that it's already picked up the vendor name. That's one of the biggest positives here, is because it does a lot of the work for you, but it doesn't hard code that. So you can always override this. So here I can update like the document date. So I can change this to 10/18 very easily. Okay. The same thing here. I'm going to update that to 10/18. And it's going to work exactly like how Business Central would work on a desktop. So you're still going to get the warnings. You're still going to get the error messages. So it doesn't decrease the quality of data that you are going to input into BC. I'm going to input the vendor invoice number. So it's 2034. And lastly, I'm going to pick a GL account here. So I'm just going to pick a random one here. Let's just pretend this is for advertising. I'm going to add that. And then what you will do is go ahead and add your quantity and pricing here. Quantity 1, $200. And lastly, once you've inputted all of your data, you can go ahead and post it from here. And this will allow the posting back into BC. So this is one of my favorite features. Again, it just really helps me out as I'm doing like my day-to-day job. I don't need to do this at the end of the day where there's a risk that I might forget. Let's move on to the bonus content that I have promised now. So one of my other favorite features of Business Central is like the budgeting process. We know how budgeting can get really stressful because you're trying to consolidate multiple departments, then you have multiple spreadsheets open. However, in Business Central, you don't need to do all of that. It can be very streamlined. So I'm going to search for my budgets, and it's called GL Budget. And you want to start a new one. Let's do 2024. And once you've named that, you can go ahead and edit the budget. A few things to look out for here. Okay, you want to pick on how you want to budget your data. The most standard process is just by month, but you do have the ability to do it by day, by week, quarterly, etc. The other piece that you want to update are your filters, and your filters speak to the time as well as are you budgeting for the income statement accounts or the balance sheet accounts. So now you'll just go ahead and just update like your budget, and it will do the roll up for you here. Same thing for the expense side. You can go ahead and add in your values, and it'll do the roll up for you. You could also use dimensions as well, or you could do it as a consolidation approach, which I have showed right now. The other thing that you could do here is that if you do not like the view of Business Central, you could go ahead and export the template. You can copy and paste from your Excel templates into this, and then you can go ahead and import it seamlessly into into BC from Excel. So like budgets, another great feature here that I really love. And the other thing to highlight here is that when you're creating a budget in BC, it's not going to create GL entries for you. It's going to create budget entries for you. And what that means is that it is not going to have a financial impact on your system. However, you can use this budget to use in reporting when you're comparing actual to budget, for example. So if I go ahead and click on the 700, you can see it's called GL budget entries. So although there seems to be entries posted to account 10100, there's no GL impact here. So your financials stay accurate. Accountants are going to love this. Lastly, the other process and tool that I love to use are projects. Projects can be quite complex because there's multiple parties involved. You have the project managers, then you deal with your budgets, your actuals. So it can be tricky to kind of consolidate all of that onto one screen. But the projects allows you to do this in one view. So I'm going to go ahead and type in projects. And these are some test projects that I have here. So you can see here that Business Central allows a quite detailed approach to execute projects. It can allow you to attach it to a customer. Secondly, it allows the project management process here where you can add many, many tasks, as well as it gives you the reporting here for accountants. You have the begin and end totals, as well as you have the actuals and the budgets and the billables here. The budget speaks to the forecast of cost, and the billable speaks to the forecast of sales. Once you add in these details, you can go ahead and execute the actual purchase invoices as well as the sales invoices. If you notice here, you also have open in Excel. So you can view that reporting in Excel format, which you can tie to your bigger reporting as well. The other piece it allows you to do is just from this page, you can see if you're under or over budget line by line. And if you scroll down further, it does allow you to see a percent completed as well as a percent invoice, which are very commonly asked questions when you deal with project accounting. So you can see here, this project page allows for project management, it allows for operations, and it also allows the finance piece to come through as well. So it's a multi-use tool, very robust and very easy to use as well. So overall, I would say those are all my favorite features that I currently use and love. Users also love it. We haven't heard too many complaints about it. And that is the conclusion of my demo. Hi, everyone. So hope everyone enjoyed the demo. I do have the chat open and I'm here to answer just any questions that anyone might have. Yeah, I appreciate that. So thank you so much. So one question is how to revive entries that are part of posted reconciliation that are deleted. Okay. So I believe that question is related to reversals. Now, how you would handle that is when you have to reverse something or delete something, you would have the original entry, but you'll also see a posted reversal because due to audit reasons, you will not be able to delete the actual original entry. So on your bank rec, you would just have two lines. One would be for the original, one would be for the reversal. You would just match those together and they would just net out to zero, but it's closed at the end of the day. So next month, you're not going to see that reversal come up. So that's how you would kind of handle that. And these yeah, exactly. So once they're closed, you will not see them in any new reconciliations. And yes, I hope to be at DynamicsCon in Chicago as well. Yeah, so the way that open balances work is that your first bank rec ever after any implementation, you must load your historical reconciled balance. So an example would be, let's say you're going live on January 1st. Your bank must be reconciled in your old system as of December 31. That December 31 balance must tie to your bank statement in your physical reality. So in your actual bank account, those two balances should tie. On Jan 1, when you come into the system, you would just load that one entry for the historical amount. Once you do that, then your first bank rec ever in the system is going to be as follows. Your opening balance is going to be 0. Your ending balance for the first bank rec is going to be that historical reconciled balance that you have loaded in your system. And that's all you do for the first bank rec. Then going forward, you have a starting point, and then the bank recs would just follow because you'll just do net changes for the month that would tie directly to your bank. Yeah, appreciate you guys asking these questions, by the way. I'll give everyone a few more moments to, add any comments or any further questions. And if anyone wants to connect with me on LinkedIn or anything, you guys can add me. It's Kanchan Gogna on my LinkedIn. I'll type that in the chat. Okay, well, if there's no further questions, you guys know where to find me. It was a pleasure to meet you all. Appreciate everyone listening to me, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the conference today. Have a good one. See you guys.